Welcome back, guys, here at the Asian Games of 2018 for StarCraft 2 with the demonstration games. This time, we've replaced Alex with another friend of mine, Jake. Welcome here to the desk.
Thanks for welcoming me. I'm enjoying this event. It's been great so far.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun together. This is the first time you and I meet. We've been doing some online stuff together in the past, but to sit here with you for something, again, this great and this new, you know, for esports and StarCraft, that's a very special moment.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's my first event outside of Korea, actually.
It is?
Yeah. I usually do the GSL, but I'm doing this now, so it's going to be great.
So how has it been so far?
It's been great. I mean, it's been a beautiful country. I love being here. So, yeah, I'm hoping the games will be good.
Yeah, did you have any chance to sit down and watch the first game that we had there between Maru and Strike?
Yeah, I did watch the first set. I actually thought Strike played pretty well.
He did, right?
Like, there were some curveballs with the battlecruiser strategies and stuff, but honestly, his early game was not that bad. And I honestly thought he could have won the game where he had like a ton of Cyclones versus the Banshee. Like, at least maybe not have won, but he definitely was in a pretty good spot.
Yeah,
he just needed to kill the Banshees a little bit faster.
Because he has a third base right as well, and we saw that in game 1 and 2. Yeah. And that already, to me, you know, shows that we actually have some players that are pretty damn solid here at this tournament.
Yeah, they can at least hold their own in a fight against the best player in the world, which is impressive. So
it really is. Well, coming up next, guys, is going to be DemiGod versus Jaquelton. It's going to be a Terran versus Zerg, and I think that's a matchup that you and I both enjoy a lot.
Yes, I enjoy TVC. I think it's a very interesting and dynamic matchup. There's a lot of things you can do, a lot of different play styles, different army compositions, so should be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a best of 5 as well.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about this a little bit earlier on, right, that, yeah, there might be a toss-up of, if it was a best of 3, we could see some upsets, but in a best of 5, it's a lot harder, Jake. And why is that?
Well, actually, you see a lot of best of 5s where one person goes up 2-0 and then loses.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just not something that happens in a best of 3. In best of 3, it's 2-0, you're over. The game's over, so, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, of course, guys, with our introductions, here we have him, DemiGod, old Warcraft 3 plays, swinging back a little bit here. Like I said, I just had a very quick word with him, but he was very excited to be here. He was very proud as well to be representing his country at an event like this of this magnitude. And I think that's sort of, you know, the feeling I'm getting from many of these players that are here. Strike as well. Just by the way he was playing with some confidence. You know, I'm hoping that we see something similar out of DemiGod.
I mean, there's a lot of weight on your shoulders, and you're representing your entire country.
Yeah.
So, you know. And this is Jaquelton. He's from is it Indonesia?
Yeah. Right here, representing the home country, man.
Yeah, it's great to see Indonesian players. I actually saw some Indonesian fans. It's really cool to see like the support for your country here.
Yeah, it's again, Jaquelton is a little bit of a question mark to many others. We haven't really seen anything from him in the past, so this is actually going to be kind of the first time really that we get to see him a little bit more in depth, and that's why I'm really happy it is going to be a best out of 5 to extend out the length of this series.
Honestly, that's actually a benefit to him too. You don't really know how he plays. You can't really study and prepare for him. So.
True. But there he is, and you can hear it.
The fans are here.
Yeah, a lot of support for this man in the red. You know, I'm hoping as well, so it's similar like I brought that up around Strike, you know, as he said, yeah, I really want my family to watch me play. So I'm hoping that we have Jaquelton's family here to support him.
I'm sure they are. At least online or in some way they're here.
Yeah, right.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, you know, it's, again, such a privilege to sit here together with you and Alex for something like this. Especially for a game that I love so much, StarCraft, man. But here it is, nonetheless, moving forward, as we are getting closer and closer to game number 1 with the map picks and bans. For the starting map, it is going to be Fracture. You can see there that they decided to remove Dreamcatcher, Jaquelton, and Cerulean Fall for DemiGod.
Yeah, Dreamcatcher seems to be like a really standard ban, especially at TVZ. Like there's a lot of abusive spots with tanks and and you know 2-1 in general. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do that's really abusive on Dreamcatcher, so that ban is not surprising at all.
What about Cerulean Fall?
Cerulean Fall is more of a standard map. I don't really think there's anything too abusable by a Zerg player on it. So I think this is probably just a ban of not really having that much time playing on this map.
Like discomfort.
Yeah, like it's a new map in the map. Well, the map was only a couple weeks old, so it makes sense to ban that if you're in an online or offline event with less experience on it.
No, I agree. So we'll see how this one is going to pan out again. If you guys just tuned in, it is a best out of 5, so we are going to be able to go the distance. And again, I'm really keen to see what both of these players are going to bring to the table, because they don't really have any sort of way to measure out, like, where do they stand in relation to one another. So I think
this is actually exciting about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's a new game. If this was like Mario versus Rogue, I would know everything that's going to, like, the standard openings of what's going to happen. Yeah. Right now, it's all mystery.
You'd have a bunch of expectations, but for this one, we're sort of coming in a clean slate together with all of you guys.
I'm really excited. I was talking about the interesting, like, dynamic of Indonesian playstyle. Could be totally different from like everyone else.
Absolutely.
So.
I mean, Alex and I, having worked with the Chinese for a long time, we saw that a very distinct approach to how you play your DBZ, for instance. Again, that was sort of like weird. But nonetheless, here we are, guys, coming into game number 1 in this set. Up in the blue of the Terran race, representing Iran, it is going to be DemiGod.
And in the bottom right, the red Zerg player representing Indonesia, it is Jaquelton. Lots of fans here.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man. And I hope he is too, with wind at his back. And maybe he can do some magic make some magic happen. But here we are, already starting things off. Pool first, coming out of Jaquelton here, followed by a gas. No regrets.
So pool first actually has a lot of interesting dynamics. Like the biggest thing you want to do with pool first is cancel the CC. Not necessarily cancel it, but delay it. So usually what you do is you run your sixlings around the Reaper coming down the center of the map and go for some canceling the CC action. But he's mining gas relatively quickly, so this could also be some Roach variant or something like that, where you do that, deny the scout, because the scout has to come back to defend the CC, and then you go for like a Roach timing or something like that. So we'll have to see if he stops gas at 100 or what. He is taking a natural expansion, so it shouldn't be too committed Roaches if it is something like that.
You know, at one point, like all the way in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, you know, I'd love to see some sort of one-base shenanigan. Wasn't it Sue who was doing like the 3 Ravager opening in TVZ for the longest time?
Dark like this stuff too. Like a lot of Zerg players like to mix it in. It's really good to mix into a series.
It is, absolutely,
especially if it's the first game.
That's true. Sort of take control, take command of the pacing of the series. But we'll see now. The scout coming in from DemiGod.
This is a nice SCV scout. You should know immediately that he needs to leave his Reaper at home.
I mean, you can see he pulls away the SCV immediately as well to not lose it.
You should know.
He can swing back and go for a second scout, but exactly like you predicted, Jaquelton is going to wrap around with these links, try to hide them. But what do we have going on for DemiGod?
DemiGod's going to leave his Reaper at home.
Oh, this is so sick.
He might look for it, but he's not going to extend across the map, so he shouldn't really be delayed. This is the most important thing dealing with pool first, is not being delayed at all. So, you know, really good from DemiGod to get the SCV scout and react to what he scouted.
Even with the Marine out here, so he can start chipping away at this Overlord, but needs to be careful to not lose links.
Oh, it's a PP.
Okay, so a bit of a pause here, guys. We'll see what that's about. But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, just as you said, initially at least, everything sort of went down. But what we want to see now is going to be the reaction and how Jaquelton handles this with these 6 initial lings. What his follow-up is going to be, if he's going to try to go in towards the third base and just play it out into a straight-up macro game. And then as well, like, what has DemiGod got planned? Because for now, it's just looking very standard from his side, but that could very quickly explode and deviate into something completely different.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to see. There's a lot of things that can go down right now. Like, this is pretty standard opening. Like, it's not really standard, but, you know.
But, I mean, for the most part, it is game number 1. So I guess we'll sort of just get a feel for both of these guys, right?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for both of them, is they need to figure out how the other person's going to play.
It's like for all of us, for both of them, for you and I.
That's why I thought it would be scary if you did some like timing or something, because then you would have to prepare for it the rest of the series.
Yeah, but is there anything specific here that you're thinking, right? Is there any sort of build you'd like to see? Do you have any sort of preference like that? When it doesn't really matter like about the players, but
the fans, the Indonesian fans.
Yeah, I love it, man. Like with the tiny little flags as well.
Yeah.
Like if we just turn our heads, we can actually kind of see them down there. We need to stand up for that. But
yeah, it's cool. I love to see the national pride for each country.
It's you know, I'm sort of getting the feeling like I get when I watch Nation Wars, you know?
Yeah, it does give a Nation Wars vibe. I definitely got that same vibe.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. I think it makes it really exciting, you know. Like, if there's one thing that I like so much about games like this, it brings people together.
Yeah.
So, you know, to rally behind their country and behind their flag, and then to celebrate those athletes. You know, so it's something to be proud of.
That's why it's so amazing we're actually doing this demonstration event. Like, if this does become a regular thing, you really see this like bringing everyone closer together in esports all over the world, all the different regions being represented. It's really cool. It's a really unique thing to have happen, honestly.
No, I mean, it really is. Like, if you think about it, right, the history of how the Olympic Games are structured and all of that, you're doing all of these sports, but you're doing them locally.
Right.
In StarCraft, I can play and talk to someone on the other side of the world, because we love the same thing, and then we can come together that way. Yeah. And that's, you know, the reach of esports is absolutely massive. So seeing this included here, you know, it's
a big step for esports in general.
No, it really is. Like I was saying to Alec, you know, like I was never expecting anything like this in my lifetime, and now I'm here behind the desk together with you and him for something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm really happy to be a part of it. I hope it becomes standard. I think this would be so massive for everyone in esports.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like the fans, the players, like everybody, literally everyone. we will benefit from having this in the esports.
And everyone thinks you're like super hip and cool, like if you're the host country for an esports event like this.
That's the most important thing.
It is really important.
Being hip and cool. I wonder what's going down. It's a pretty early pause. I'm actually not too sure what would cause it. Maybe like a gear malfunction or something.
Maybe like hardware could be bad. You know, you need to like get a new mouse or when you go and.
We're good. We're good. We're back in.
Okay, here we are.
But see, he's pulling a couple SCVs. This is a little unnecessary. The Reaper should never die here.
Oh well.
Marine, though.
That gets isolated. Good control right now here from Jaquelton. Reaper will have to bounce off.
The SCVs here might get picked off, which is a little bit unnecessary, but it is doing a little bit more damage than I expected, especially with an SCV scout. Getting at least one SCV so far, and a Marine.
And denying the command center as well. That was what you said, man. The most important part, don't get too delayed, but he's actually lost a fair amount. Like, losing that initial Marine as well is kind of annoying. Jaquelton back at home looks as if he is indeed going to go towards that third hatchery. And I'm liking this approach a lot more than just, you know, putting all of your eggs in one basket and trying to finish things. But does he have the potential or capacity to actually wrap this up on 2 bases?
Oh, this is actually a really fast link speed. If he gets this Reaper, that would be really annoying for him. He wouldn't be able to defend his natural very well. But he doesn't get it. That's a really nice save.
Good control there from DemiGod with those SCVs. But he's not going to keep committing.
Another thing is if you swap the factory, like you pretty much will always get your natural. But sometimes it's like you hit a really fast feeling timing, you can't swap your factory.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then you're actually just stuck because what you do to make Marines on your reacted racks. So this is really good for him that he at least got the factory up. So this should be. Oh, that's a mistake. That is, unless he's proxy hatching, which would be amazing. Just throws down a hatchery here. It's like, okay, you're not leaving your base.
No, he has right-clicked it.
So that's just a mistake. He should. This sometimes happens when you're rallying like lings across the map and a drone gets like caught in the hockey.
Yeah, that's fair. Like one of the eggs.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Right. But yeah, third base coming down here for Jaquelton though, so he's just going to play it out very normally. You know, after
coming home. I've seen games where like people do this when they're rallying like an all-in and a drone comes with their all-in. They just throw down a hatchery because like you already have a drone there. You might as well just meme a little bit. But this is a nice scout actually. The Overlord scouting the starport with a tech lab. He should know that this is Banshee.
Yeah, we have 4 Hellions on the ground as well already, together with that Reaper, and what is that, 2 Cyclones being added into the mix?
That's a little strange, actually. I don't see too many Cyclones being added on after. Like, it's usually 4 Hellion Banshee and transitioning pretty quickly. Like, the Cyclones aren't really necessary because they don't really, you know, join the Hellions.
Like what are they going to do, like, in reality, that the Hellions can't do, right?
Exactly.
But we'll see now. Scan goes down, so he actually sees the lair timing, but this third base, undefended. He did have the armory tech, so he's going to make these guys into hell, but the Queen's coming over now, but there's no creep spread, so he really needs to start laying into these units very quickly.
Yeah, these 3 Queens should be able to deal with this pretty easily, but this actually would have been a little bit scarier if instead of 4 Hellions it was 6 or something like that, and he had like the grenade.
Oh god, no, is this where the Cyclones come into big plays?
Yeah, this is where they come in.
Oh my god. Jake, if they're actually going to gun this down.
He even has a Banshee too, like these Queens are actually really vulnerable right now.
Yeah, does he? He's got 1 transfusion at least. Immediately starts targeting that Banshee. That's really nice target control coming in here from Jaquelton.
The transfusions are so important. I think he missed a transfuse and lost the Queen already. I see energy on these Queens.
Yeah, the Baneling's also going to get taken out, and these Hellbats are still reigning supreme.
Okay, that was a nice hit. A lot of splash damage done here. He might actually be able to clean this up now with the Queen.
Oh, great surround here from the Lings. The Queens as well, racking up the damage, and he will deflect for... Now, Jaquelton retains this third base and finds himself at a significant supply advantage.
Yeah, that's really, really big deal. The biggest question, I guess, is if this base has a pretty low HP right now, and there's 2 Banshees, it is possible to get sniped down if there's Cloak or something like that, so as long as the base stays alive, he's in a really good spot.
Yeah, but there's no Cloak coming out here from DemiGod. You can see that he's going to get a Raven. Going to add a 3rd command center as well, but Jaquelton, I mean, with this, he defends, he retains 2 of those Queens at least, so he will be able to get that creep thread going again. I mean, looking at the minimap, could be a little bit better, but he's working on it, so I don't really feel as if he's really in any trouble right now. He probably feels quite comfortable.
This is a very comfortable spot. Okay, another drone being rallied. That's unfortunate.
Third one is a charm, right?
Oh, he's a burrowed Zergling. Did he actually researched burrow to block the third CC.
But does he have burrow?
Is it burrowed? I can't tell.
Yeah, it's hard to see on a tiny little screen.
I'm pretty sure it's burrowed.
I don't think it's burrowed.
I could be wrong. I need my glasses.
Oh my, the drone that could. He's counting. He actually sees the move out of these units. And he might just be trying to do what you were saying, but he does have an overseer there. He's bringing in another queen from the natural expansion as well.
Yeah, it has quite low HP though.
3 queens now.
I'm a little bit worried, especially if this Raven can stop one of these queens from attacking.
Oh my god, yeah, that's actually huge. Interference matrix.
Yeah.
Or like even if he throws down a turret, because those are really high DPS.
You can zone away the queens. I don't think there's very many transfuses here, so this base is actually quite vulnerable. Okay, here's the turret.
Oh my god, he's going to go for it. He's going to try to gun it down.
He shouldn't be.
Single auto turret. Is it going to do the job? Oh, the hatchery's so low. Oh my god.
Focusing it down.
Oh, it stays alive.
I almost feel like he can dive it now with his banshees.
He could dive it with a single marine, Jake.
Yeah, this is really scary. I just think you should send the high HP banshee in. Just go for it.
Scans the natural there. Sees nothing out of the ordinary, really. DemiGod, on the other hand, like he's got his third base down just now with a 4th CC made very quickly. I mean, he's going to be playing mech.
Yeah, he's playing mech.
But he doesn't really have a tank count just yet, so he is a little bit vulnerable.
Actually, it's a 4th CC. That's a really fast 4th CC for a mech player.
Yeah, and I think that's why his tank count is so low. Like it's cutting into his minerals a lot.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. This is actually pretty big roach timing. If he doesn't have anything at home, like I think he needs his banshees at home to defend this. Because only 2 tanks. There's a ton of roaches on the map right now.
And now
okay, the banshees are home though. This should be defendable.
Oh, needs to be careful though. One of these siege tanks not sieged just yet. The other 2 now coming in from the main base as well.
This is a pretty good spot. He defends this really easily. Unfortunately, not getting the 3rd base on the other side, though. I feel like that would have been like priority number 1.
Yeah, I agree. Like you gun that down, and like even trade out the banshees, because with 3 tanks and a couple of hellbats, you do have enough of a buffer to keep those tanks alive to allow them to do the damage. Transition though here from Jaquelton. He's going to throw down the Hydra. He actually went for the infestation pit before the Hydra. Then what do you make of that?
Well, generally, I would say that would be for swarm hosts, but we didn't see any swarm hosts, so I don't know.
But why Hydras now?
I don't actually like. There's no like process that makes you want to throw down an infestation pit before, unless you're going swarm host or fast hive.
Right.
And we don't see either of those things. So maybe he was wanting to do swarm hosts. I think he's producing them now.
Yeah, 3 in production.
That would make sense.
Maybe a little bit indecisive, like initially, like not feeling comfortable enough to actually make that investment just yet. But nonetheless, I mean, Jaquelton finds himself in a very good position. He's got that fourth hatchery up and running, going to be grabbing those gases as well. The third hatchery has actually been transfused a couple of times.
Yeah, that's good.
So you can see that it's got
one
more HP
stray
now.
Banshee just kills that third base. It would be really annoying.
So that'd be the worst.
Yeah, especially when we get into like the later stages of mech where you see like Hellion run by, so they just transform to help out to kill the base or something like that. Like, it's good to transfuse it up.
It certainly is.
Starting to power up. He's got a lot of factories for mech here.
Like 5 in total.
It's quite a bit.
Whereas 2 of them are producing tanks non-stop.
I like what DemiGod was going to try and do. I think he wanted to clear out some of the creep. There's actually not any anti-air with Jaquelton's army, so we could leave the Banshees over top of it. At all times.
I mean, maybe that's why he wanted to go for the Hydrotech initially, to get a few Hydrolisks just sprinkled in there so he can deal with the Banshees.
Oh, he's going to get the Raven!
Oh, nice pickup there for Jaquelton!
That's a big, big mistake.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fair amount of units here, and especially so with the Locusts when they show up.
Yeah, pushing up this tiny ramp would not be a good idea, though, into that tank count.
Oh, but a Hellion run back coming in here from DemiGod. Remember, he does have Blue Flame. What is the back at home? The defense of these units?
I don't think there's anything. I think the main portion of the army is out of here. He loses a lot of drones, potentially.
Lings come on in, but what are they going to do? Blue Flame Hellions. The entire army of the Zug is brought all the way back over towards his side of the map, but he has done a really good job in controlling the damage output, at least, losing only 4 drones, or pardon me, 6 drones. Yeah,
that's really not that much, especially considering he did 4 SCVs on the other side. That was a lot of Hellions for only 6 drones.
Yeah,
good
definitely
defense.
Not cost effective. You were looking for way more than that. But nonetheless, I mean, it so far is a relatively even game, but the creep spread is continuously growing.
There's a ton of queens.
Yeah, oh my god, how many queens is that? Like 10,
at least 10.
9 queens that he's running around on the map with?
I wonder if he's going to do a big push with these queens and swarm hosts and everything. He's actually a little bit vulnerable in 2 separate bases. He might lose a lot of drones here.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly will. In the 4th base, in the main base, 10 already have been taken out. Yeah, this is a lot of economic damage right now. But Jaquelton has a big mineral bank, so I mean, it's not going to be the end of the world, but it's going to be very annoying, and it could actually leave him a little bit susceptible if he's forced to go for an awkward remax.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is he has to spend his mineral bank now to replenish his drone count, but not the biggest deal, honestly. If he had no drone count, this would be like potentially game-ending damage. So
absolutely.
But with a big mineral bank, this is okay.
We're running head first into this planetary fortress. There are a lot of tanks. The Locusts get taken out very, very quickly.
Is he going to lose his base?
It's like you said, Jake, the Hellbats are going to kill the hatchery.
I think this base goes down. That's a huge mistake as well.
Oh my god, even more drones coming up here, ready for the Fryer. 28 in total have gone down. Now a couple of roaches have shown up to deal with it, but it's a little bit too late.
It's way too late. I mean, the base is already dead. I almost think he needs to double expand now. Like, he has the minerals to do it. He just needs to keep the income coming while he trades his army.
Oh, I like this, though, the addition of spine crawlers being thrown down in the mineral line. I mean, like you say, he does have the minerals for it, so he could just invest a couple of spines, buy himself some time. Now these aliens finally get cleaned up between the queens and the rest of the army.
Yeah, it's a good job being done, though, honestly. Like, he had a really high bank. If none of this happened, the bank would be insane right now.
Yeah, that's true.
He's doing a really good job of forcing Jaquelton to spend his resources where he doesn't want to, which is not a remax, but replenishing the economy.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's been keeping the Zerg army back at home during all of this time, which has allowed him to take a 4th base, make that a planetary comfortably. He's been able to grow his tank count. So now, I mean, I really feel as if the ball is kind of on Jaquelton's side of the court. He needs to figure out how to challenge this one. It's going to be very tough.
Yeah, hopefully these don't land on Hellbats. This is not bad. I mean, he gets a tank or two there.
Ready this time with a little bit of army as well to deflect those Hellions. I like this. Like, Jaquelton is adjusting really well to what's been going on in this game.
Oh, he might lose another base. It's so close. Okay, he should save it. That was really close.
Man, he would like be beating himself up if he loses that one.
Yeah, it would be a little bit unnecessary. Fortunately, it wouldn't have been finished. He could have just cancelled it, but still. A little bit of an unnecessary loss if it happened.
Yeah. Okay, Jake. But now looking at the army composition that we have from Jaquelton, Roach Ravager, Hydra, and only a handful of these Swarm Hosts. This is not enough to challenge a Mech army like this.
No, I'm really scared for him. I think he needs Vipers or something like that. Without any Vipers or anything to really fight this head on, he's going to lose this fight, I think.
Oh, well, here we go. The Queen's Move commanded. A lot of the army coming in from the east side as well. He's got a very good angle of attack, in fact. As the tanks aren't actually sieged, he's decimating this Mech army, but a big swell of Thors coming from the back lines, and they're going to push back the Zerg army for now.
He was able to save all of his Swarm Hosts, too, which was huge. If he had lost his Swarm Hosts, he wouldn't be able to, like, replenish anything here. But at least now he can replenish his army. If this fight happened, like, at his 4th or 3rd base, he wouldn't have time to replenish his army. So now he can go for his Wave 2 Remax.
Yeah, a lot of Thors in this army. More Thors than there are tanks present right now here for DemiGod. He's going to be gunning down this 5th Antry down to the south-hand side. The army here for Jaquelton is still kind of just waiting. He makes 19 more Hydralisks, but is that really what you want versus tanks?
Oh no, please don't lose the Vipers. If he loses the Vipers, that would be a huge mistake.
Oh, they go down immediately.
He needed the Vipers. They're really, really important.
This is massive now. Good wave of Locusts drop down on top of all of this. But there are Medivacs there to pick up and micro with these Thors as well. DemiGod is doing such a good job right now in this push.
Yeah, I think 2 Vipers would have actually made a huge difference. Imagine 2 Blinding Clouds with the army being so clumped right now from DemiGod. But he lost them, so he wouldn't really have anything to do with this.
Yeah, he's
2 more Vipers are out. He really needs to use them.
Yeah, but there's no energy for them. Like, what is he going to do? Get abducted a Thor or 2? But the Medivacs immediately pick them back up and take them back over towards the line
really
of the
nice
Terra.
Control from DemiGod.
Yeah, he's playing very well right now. Jaquelton in a lot of trouble. He's lost 2 bases already to this main army. Another wave of Locusts going to be coming up shortly. There it is. That's actually a fairly significant one, but no, they're miscontrolled, and he actually loses all of their initial jump onto one of these units on the low ground.
That was a very unfortunate control. We see the army supplies the regular supplies 187 to 146. It's a pretty bad position to be in, honestly. I don't know how he's going to stop the momentum here from DemiGod.
Oh, it's looking as if it's just way too strong right now.
Yeah.
Every single time that he steps on forward to drop some corrosive vials, he loses a good portion of his army. And you can see it right there. This is going to be Jaquelton in his death throes. Not much left to do. Good game is called. DemiGod picks up victory in game number 1.
I honestly thought Jaquelton had it. Like, he looked like he had a really nice bank, a really nice army. He just needed to find his timing window a little bit better. Like, he missed his timing window, and then the Terran player had too much of an army. And then by that point, he didn't transition fast enough into Vipers, so he just had this, like, clunky Roach, kind of Roach Swarmhost army composition, which is not that great against a full-size mech army.
No.
It's better against, like, when you're 200 to 120 or something like that, then you can just brute